welcome back to The Explainer. We spend so much time analyzing how people love, how they commit, how they build their lives together. But today, we're completely flipping the script. We are breaking down the exact moments attraction just dies, all based on the zodiac. We're getting into the precise behaviors, the mindsets, and the social dynamics that cause someone to just walk away, sometimes permanently.
Because it's the ultimate question, isn't it? What kills romance instantly? You're cruising along, everything feels absolutely fine, and then bam, the attraction vanishes. We usually call this sudden drop-off the ick. But according to our astrological sources, this ick isn't random at all. It's actually deeply hardwired into our personalities. What might be a totally unforgivable deal-breaker for you might go completely unnoticed by someone else.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. We're organizing these deal breakers into distinct psychological buckets: the anatomy of an ick, emotional and behavioral turnoffs, intellectual dishonesty and frakeness, social and practical deal breakers, and we'll wrap up with the ultimate romantic victory.
Let's start right off with Section 1, the anatomy of an ick. Look, understanding exactly why signs walk away is honestly just as crucial as knowing how they commit. It's two sides of the exact same coin. As you'll see, people love differently, but they absolutely leave differently too. Some signs view love as this unbreakable, lifelong architectural project, right? While others see it as an ongoing exploration of freedom. Because of that, romantic turnoffs vary widely by zodiac sign. But when you look at the data, these deal breakers almost always fall into three main categories: emotional behavior, intellectual compatibility, and social dynamics.
Moving right along to Section 2, emotional and behavioral turnoffs. Now, for a massive portion of the zodiac, how a partner handles their own independence is the ultimate test of a relationship's survival. That brings us to our first major emotional deal breaker: predictability and clinginess. We're talking about that state of being just always available or totally lacking outside goals and passions. For certain signs, a lack of independence isn't just a minor annoyance, it is a massive, immediate turnoff that literally kills the romance right on the spot.
Take Aries, for example. If you don't have a life outside of them, no goals, no passions, they're going to disengage incredibly quickly. They need to feel chosen, not dependent on, They want you to have your own world so they can willingly step into it. Then you have Leo. Leos love with this roaring ferocity, but if a partner becomes always available or becomes super clingy, Leo's interest just fades fast. It feels predictable, dull, and insecure to them. And Sagittarius? Oh man, they are utterly drained by predictability. If your conversations are focused solely on safety and long-term certainty, you will bore them right out the door.
All right, now let's look at a totally different flavor of emotional deal breaker: emotional inconsistency and games. This is the act of missing subtle cues, trying to manipulate relationship tension, or bringing a really fragile ego to the table. And it's wild because different signs react to these games in completely opposite ways.
What's really fascinating here is the direct contrast between Aries and Taurus when it comes to emotional volatility. Aries actually kind of wants a little tension. They hate predictability so much, they might even stir up conflict just to feel something if they get bored. They just hate calculated manipulation. But Taurus? Complete opposite. Taurus is designed to be this permanent, stable mountain range of love. They absolutely despise loud conflict, chaos, and fragile egos. If you bring volatility and insecurity to a Taurus, it drains them immediately. They prefer slow, calm conversations and quiet strength.
Cancer also has absolutely zero tolerance for emotional games, but their trigger's a bit different. Cancer is fundamentally designed to be a perpetual caretaker. But if a partner displays emotional ignorance, like missing subtle cues, avoiding clear communication, or leaving plans undefined, Cancer interprets that as direct rejection. They will quietly and completely emotionally disengage just to protect their heavily armored inner circle.
So this brings us to our third major emotional turnoff: pressure and control. This is that distinct, suffocating feeling of being forced, heavily guided, boxed in, or pushed into confinement way before you're actually ready.
Let's look at how this actually plays out. Taurus, as stubborn as they are devoted, will completely shut down emotionally if you push them too hard or aggressively confront them. Sagittarius, who absolutely thrives on freedom and momentum, feels instantly suffocated by any pressure to commit or follow through, even if the plan was originally their own idea.
Crazy, right? And Aquarius, they run on autonomy. If you impose structure, labels, or relationship timelines too early, they recoil. It's not necessarily the plan itself they hate, it's the confinement. They need to feel freely chosen.
To wrap up this emotional bucket, we've got to talk about Pisces. Pisces operates on this boundless empathy, often ignoring physical limits to just entangle their spiritual DNA with yours. Because of this, their absolute biggest deal breaker is a lack of empathy in a partner. If you claim to understand them, but then show zero compassion for lives and experiences outside your own familiar limits, their attraction to you disappears in a heartbeat.
Let's shift gears into Section 3, intellectual dishonesty and fakeness. So here we're transitioning from the heart into the realm of the mind, because for some signs, the absolute fastest way to kill romance is through the intellect. First up is intellectual rigidity, which we define as closed-mindedness, an inability or absolute unwillingness to adapt your thinking. For Gemini, this is the ultimate deal breaker. Gemini treats life like this fascinating giant puzzle. They value curiosity way over credentials. If you like your own opinions, or worse, if you arrogantly believe you are always right, attraction dies immediately. Stagnant thinking is definitely the fastest way to lose a Gemini. Next up is intellectual dishonesty. This is pretending to be thoughtful or blindly following trends without any actual substance to back it up. Virgo views this fake intelligence and entitlement as an instant turnoff. See, Virgo cares by optimizing and improving things, and yes, that includes you. They deeply value critical thinking and humility. If you're pretending to be thoughtful or just mimicking intellectual culture for the performance of it, Virgo loses all respect for you. You really have to be genuine and, most importantly, willing to admit what you don't know.
And honestly, we can't talk about fakeness without bringing in Scorpio. There's a great quote for this. The moment honesty disappears, so does your interest. Scorpios are basically the emotional detectives of the zodiac. They hate fakeness in literally any form. If you try to impress a Scorpio with your status or clout, it is going to completely backfire. They are deeply repelled by people who perform authenticity rather than actually living it. They just want the raw, unpolished truth.
Moving right along to Section 4, social and practical deal breakers.
This final pillar is all about how partners operate out in the real world, in public and in the day-to-day mechanics of building a life together. So the really crucial point here is how someone handles themselves in a room. Enter Libras. Libras care deeply about harmony, aesthetics, and diplomacy. Therefore, their ultimate deal breaker is social embarrassment. Being socially tone-deaf, engaging in inappropriate oversharing, or causing messy public awkwardness, that is utterly unforgivable to a Libra. It disrupts their peace. If you lack charm or emotional awareness in social settings, a Libra will quietly and often permanently withdraw from you.
Then we have the highly practical signs, like Capricorn, who absolutely loathe emotional debt. Capricorn shows care through acts of service. They're the ones paying the insurance, building the fortress, getting things done. In return, they intensely track the practical investment in a relationship. If there is a constant imbalance where one person provides nothing of use or constantly owes them time, energy, and money, Capricorn views that connection as totally unsustainable. They build trust through consistent action, and emotional debt just completely exhausts them. Similarly, when we look at practical, day-to-day interactions, the water signs Cancer and Scorpio actually share a profound hatred for superficiality. Avoiding depth, sticking only to surface-level small talk, or just navigating life with a shallow personality is a major practical deal-breaker for them. They require intense, meaningful connection to stay interested long-term.
Finally, Section 5, the ultimate romantic victory. So that covers the emotional, the intellectual, and the practical. Our sources remind us that finding a partner who is completely unbothered by the passage of time is the ultimate romantic victory. But to get there, to actually achieve that lasting connection, understanding a partner's distinct deal breakers is the ultimate key. Recognizing these specific turnoffs, whether it's giving an Aries too much predictability, suffocating a Sagittarius, or embarrassing a Libra in public, really helps us navigate romantic compatibility with incredibly sharp precision.
I want to leave you with this thought to mull over. Think back on your past relationships. Which deal breaker resonates with you the most, and does it actually align with your own zodiac sign? It's pretty fascinating to see how deeply our boundaries are wired into us. Keep exploring those dynamics, and we'll see you in the next explainer.